Well, ladies and gentlemen, happy Wednesday to you all. It's a midweek rest for Celtic as we focus on Motherwell the weekend in the league. I'm joined here by Connor tonight and Danny from Belfast. Well, Derry / lives in Belfast. So, Connor, welcome on to the podcast. Danny, to yourself as well. Welcome to the podcast. Hopefully this will be first of many. We'll have some good heat discussions about the team, about the form, about players, about just the agenda of Celtic, So I'll just start it off. Connor, how are you feeling about the season so far? What's been in so far of the season?
A bit of touch and go season in it to start off with, but then again, you just need to take into consideration the players need to get used to Brendan's new tactics. So it'll take them a bit of time to gel together, but hopefully that result of the weekend at Livingston, that's maybe one for us to kick on. You know what I mean?
Was it just a big case when you were going before the ball was even kicked? Just say for the Japanese tour, were you confident going in saying, look, we'll definitely win the league this season, be double points gap?
Well, you see yourself about Rodgers. Rodgers isn't a daft man, is he? So you kind of you're always got to be confident to win the league, Keith. But it's just one of them, innit? Like, you just need to wait and see how it goes. And they're making signings that you don't know about, and then you just need to watch transfer window. But then we just came into the season. It's dodgy, slow start, but like I said, hopefully that's us going to pick up now and take on form now. That's a tough game. It's a tough game. It's a tough stadium to go to, especially the AstroTurf. And we do it to 10 men. We made a bit of a statement with that, in my opinion, Keith.
You see, you go back to 2019 when we played Livingston at the start of the season, and Christie got sent off. That was a dark day. I remember that. And then the abuse he got off some fans over it as well. Shocking. But interesting times. Like, obviously, getting that first derby over the line, the result we pulled off was like a lot of people wrote us off going into the game. Like, we're not going to do this. We're not playing great at the moment. Drawing to St. Johnstone the weekend before, but it's a long road of football to be playing. Obviously, with Europe and then the Scottish Cup after Christmas as well.
No, 100%. It was one of them as well, going to Ibrox as well. I wasn't very confident myself, but Rodgers played one of his mastermind tactics, didn't he?
100%. Danny, the same to yourself. I know we had a discussion before Rodgers was even appointed. How are you feeling so far of this season?
Yeah, better now, Keith. Obviously, off to a bit of a shaky start, just touching on what Connor said. Slow start, just obviously getting used to the group again. Rodgers getting used to the new set of players and just finding the strengths within the team. I think we're a lot more settled down now than we were, obviously, with the results at Ibrox and whatnot. But yeah, I think the team now is starting to find their feet. I think there's a bit more cohesion in the team. Looking at the photo shoot the other day, you can see the team gelling well together. But yeah, good to see the guys settling down and cracking on from here. I think obviously better things to come. Rodgers, as Connor touched on there, he isn't stupid. He's a tactical brain on him. What he done his first stint was just unheard of and phenomenal. So I think as time goes on and as the team grows, you'll see more of those results on the pitch with more players coming in the door from January. Yeah.
Of all the signings so far, who's been the most impressive? I know we have a couple of them that have been injured.
I mean, for me, I don't think a lot of them signings in the summer had anything to do with Rodgers. I think obviously, he was told that these guys are coming in, they're pipelined, and you can have a proper crack at it in January. Maybe the loan spell of Bernardo from Benfica. That's something to do with Rodgers, and then maybe Palma. But I don't think any of those. I mean, Neil touched on it. I don't think Rodgers rubber stamped any of those signings. I think you'll see more quality come through the door in January. For me, the two signings, Alistair Johnson and CCV, for me are just immense. They're impeccable at the back. They're phenomenal, and they're real leaders on the pitch. So yeah, it's good to get Johnson back, and then obviously CCV back now in the ninth. So yeah, and again, obviously Motherwell getting called up. Well, supposedly getting called up for the Denmark squad. it's going to be hard to hold on to him unless Rodgers can pull a masterstroke and get him and Rio over the line.
Hopefully, definitely. We're going to talk about the contract situation. The players have signed new contracts and stuff. But we'll start off with the weekend with the sending off of Joe Hart. I was reading this an article today. They said Joe Hart's played 732 games of competitive football, and he's never been sent off. That was the first time he's ever been sent off in his career, Connor. What do you make of that?
I know, I seen that, mate. I did. I seen that. I heard that. I seen that in Sky Sports on Saturday, actually. That's some record, isn't it, Keith? I mean, it's a bit a silly one, but if it's your first red card in however many games it was, well, I'm pretty sure Joe Hart will be happy. Not happy with it, but he can't really complain with that. Nobody many people that can say that.
Well, okay, he was getting criticised for never saving a penalty properly for Celtic, and he obviously saved the penalty in Rotterdam. And obviously the result didn't really matter at the end of the day, getting beaten obviously down to 9 men. But what's your opinions on Joe Hart? Is it a case that you think we need to go out and start looking long term at another keeper, or is it a case that we let this go until the end of the season and start like maybe wheeling someone in?
At the start, like they were talking, well, sure they were talking about Kasper Schmeichel as well, but he's older than Joe, isn't he? So you can't
he's a year older than Joe, yeah.
Well, you definitely need some sort of like I quite rate Seagrass, if I'm honest. I thought he was a brilliant keeper at Dundee United. But obviously you need somebody that's going to be good for Champions League, just European football in general. But Joe Hart, it's a touch and go one, isn't it? Like just before the sending off, he pulled off a brilliant save, and it's been like that the last couple of weeks. He has made some seriously good saves for Celtic, and he's kept us in the games at times.
100%. But it's a case where you just I don't know if it's just from prior to Ange Ball, when it was Ange Ball, that whole like when he got the ball at his feet, you never felt comfortable. I know Rodgers plays a different style of football. I think that's staying in the back of my head. Like, don't get me wrong, he has experience, he has leadership, playing the Champions League, played in basically every competition that was offered in football. But it's just, you're saying Seacrest obviously was one of the best keepers in the league before he went to Celtic, and he hasn't played because Joe Hart forced him back in order. And obviously Seacrest knew that he was going to be a number 2. It'd be interesting the weekend. I want your honest opinion. Who would you go for the weekend? Would you go for Bain or Seacrest?
I'd be going for Seacrest. But then again,
Seacrest.
That's the problem. That's the problem for me. Bain had that bit of bomb scare as well, didn't he? And
Hibs as well. Like, he was one of the last games of the season. He was just shocking when he played that game.
I know, it wasn't very good, but it's one of them. It's just you just need to deal with it. You've got Keith, because that's a team now for now. So
exactly, Danny. What's the situation in regards to goalkeepers? How are you feeling about Bain and Seacrest?
Bain's a bomb scare, in my opinion. I mean,
I just don't think he's
he just came on for Joe Hart the other day. He nearly conceded a goal against Livingston with that stupid clearance. I just think I would like to go after your guy. There was talk and speculation that guy Keller, is it, for Liverpool?
Yeah.
Kevin Keller. He's looking for first time football. I don't think we get him permanent. We get him on loan, but I think Joe Hart. Now, I love Joe Hart, one of his biggest fans. But you can see he's clearly past it. I mean, that game against Feyenoord, Champions League. You know, he's played in international. He's played in Champions League level for how many years, and you know he sets his wall up like that. Puts Kyogo on the wall. I just don't think he has it anymore. Yes, still a good keeper. Yes, we need him. He pulls off saves that he needs to pull off, but just the basics. Like he came out. We had a talk about this, Keith. He came out like Bruce Lee against Livingston. For me, I don't think it was a sending off. I mean, our penalty when Atati was brought down, that should have been a sending off. That was the last man back. But again, it's John Beaton ref in that game. I don't think Joe should have got sent off. He did come out a bit like Bruce Lee, but again, you're putting yourself in that situation. You're coming out the guy. Keeper at the weekend, Seacrest. I think he's still got a bit on yet. Yes, he's lost interest, and there's a new girl on the scene, but I don't think he'll be with Celtic much longer. I think Celtic will go for a keeper in January and bet him in before the summer.
hopefully even we get the cash book out and even spend 2 or 3 million on a keeper. We need to actually just get a keeper.
I spent 5 million on Barcast, so I think 2 or 3 million's cheap.
I think they'd be afraid to go out for that Barcast level.
Oh, it was one of the worst Celtic goalkeepers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's doing really well now for that team. He's been doing a free transfer.
Correct?
He's killing it. Yeah, I know it's a different league and everything else, but he shows the potential and the talent he has. He just couldn't cut it in Scotland. But yeah, I think I'll go for a keeper in January and just sort of bet him on with Joe, and obviously if Joe moves on then in the summer. So yeah.
I think the problem with the whole situation with Bain is Bain's only there to cover the numbers for the Champions League group, for the homegrown players. That's the God honest truth. Yeah, I know.
There's a relationship there as well, though, with Rodgers, because you have to understand when Rodgers came the first time, Bain was used a lot under Rodgers. He trusted him. He done well with him, but again, it was against Rangers teams of then, not of now. But Bain, he's to be honest, I just think he's past it too. He signed a new contract. I don't know what. Do we go out on loan but I think Segrist, I agree with Connor. I think they should give him a run of games.
That's it. We'll see what happens. Be interesting the weekend. Motherwell are a really good side, but in regards to that standing off against Livy, I think before that even sending off happened, I was feeling anxious. I was like, they're going to score against us, even though we had the penalty. I was very nervous going into once we scored, but I think with the red card, it benefited us. You just seen the confidence of the players, especially in the second half. There was I think they had one shot on target in the second half on us, and that was the case.
They got a bit of momentum when we scored a goal. Obviously, the momentum was well from there. When we got Joe Hart was sent off. Mm-hmm. They found a bit of momentum. I mean, you look at that tonight. You look at that against Rangers tonight. They haven't even had a shot on target. 3 shots, none on target. And against us, they were matching us for shots on targets and total shots. So you see, they always put it up a level against Celtic. I know it's a different pitch, and I know they're at home, but it's night and day stuff compared to what they're playing tonight.
100%. I'm going to ask you as regards to the defenders. Obviously, Nat Phillips is missing the weekend. He was with the ankle injury. Naroski is still a couple of weeks off. I think 3 weeks we're looking at, maybe 4 weeks. Carter Vickers is back on the grass. Hopefully we'll have him back probably post-international break, because the international is coming up. So it's mad to think, once we get this international football over and done with, these 3 games, it's all steam ahead until March for the next international break. Would you, if Carter Vickers is fit, I know we haven't seen much of Nat Phillips so far, Connor, would you go with 3-5-2 at the back?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Now, I'm talking about 3-5-2. I'm saying Scales, Carter Vickers, and Phillips, not Larga Bielke. Now, Larga Bielke would make a statement.
I'm not too sure on Larga now. Even at Ibrox, you've seen that just felt under pressure all the time. Every time the balls were coming out high, it just was a bit of a bomb scare, I felt. I think Scales has absolutely proved himself in the last couple of games. I think Scales has been absolutely brilliant. I've been saying to a few people myself that I'd actually probably be playing Carter Vickers and Scales for now. Well, not for now, but when Carter Vickers is back, that's why I'd be going with Vickers and Scales just to see where it goes, because Vickers is an absolute unit, isn't he?
Your thing went off, just clicking it back into it. There you're back in there, yeah? Good stuff. What about yourself, Danny? When Carter Vickers comes back, are you going with Scales, or are you going to go for Naroski or Larga Bielke when they're all fit, or even Welch?
Yeah, I wouldn't go for 3-5-2 at the moment. I don't think the team's quite there.
But you seen Taylor. Taylor wasn't even playing left back for most of the game. He was like playing the defensive midfielder.
Yeah, and again with Scales, Larga Bielke, he'll sell on again. Scales kind of carried him in that Ibrox game, but no, I don't think we're there yet for 3 at the back. I think 4 at the back is where we're at in terms of formation. Rodgers, I don't think he ever played 3 at the back, and when he managed this before. I think that was a Lennon. It was a Lennon formation, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 11. You were only talking about the other day in the group, when in the Europa League group.
Yeah, we came back after winter break, and then we smashed. We Griff up front, and we went unbeaten from January right through to March, and then COVID happened, and we won the league through that. But we were obviously 13 points ahead. But I don't think Rodgers will go 3 at the back. For me, it's AJ, Vickers, Scales, and Taylor.
You're looking at the players that are actually getting the new deals, Connor. You see Callum got the new deal. You got Kyogo, Moyeda, Welch, Abada, now Ralston. Should Celtic be ambitious and be giving Vickers a new deal? Because you know that obviously he has experience, the Premier League experience. I know he's been on loan so many times when he was at Spurs, different championship clubs. But we can see what the potential of Carter Vickers is. He's only in his mid-20s as well. Should we be tying him down to a longer deal?
I know 100%, Keith. In my opinion, Carter Vickers is one of my favourite Celtic players at the minute. Well, not at the minute, but he's one of my favourite Celtic players. I think he's one of the best centre halves that we've had in a long, long time. And I've always thought that Celtic have always need to get decent centre halves, because I felt like the defence bit is always a struggle for Celtic. But nah, I'd 100% be giving Carter a brand new deal.
That's it. He's just been struck with injuries. Obviously, he took a while he didn't play the first few games in pre-season. Then he came back in against Atletico Bilbao, and then got 1 or 2 games on the belt, and he's back injured again. I think, be honest, if you're putting a price tag on Vickers right now, I'd be looking at a 20 million centre back, because he's still mid-20s. He has the Champions League experience. He's a US international. He's a treble winner, and he has Europa League. Like, look at defenders in England, like a Harry Maguire that's gone for 80 odd million. Like,
I'd be asking for 100 million.
What about yourself, Danny, with Carter Vickers? I know, like we've said in the past, I think Carter Vickers is being the best centre back signing for Celtic since Virgil van Dijk.
He should have been. I would agree with that. He should have been given a new deal last season, let alone this season. He's one of the standouts. Obviously, he's went off for that knee surgery, so I think we're probably just waiting to see how that panned out. I think they rushed him back, but no, he should be spearheaded at the front of the line for a new deal. I think obviously with Rio will get his new deal next, and then we'll see where Matt and CCV is. But there's a bit of a pattern, isn't there? Like, they're all signing on, and it's Rodgers again. He's influential.
I don't even think this is a Rodgers thing. I just think this is more of a, the market is starting to shift. Celtic are starting to win trophies. Yeah, consistently. They're in Champions League football. There's a bit of a pattern where, you know what, if we can sell Tierney for 25 million and we can sell another players a Jota for 25 million. I know the Saudi Arabian league is completely different. Why not should we put these boys down and put a bigger price tag on them?
Yeah, but Rodgers, you have to understand too, Keith, Rodgers' man management. I mean, Rodgers is the type of manager who puts an arm around the shoulder, sits down, engages, interacts with the team, even in training. As much as I love Ange, and sadly seeing him go, Ange didn't have that about him. If he wanted to go, Ange like, go, just leave. And I think in my opinion, it's all about opinions. Then I think Ange thought he was going to lose more than 2 Celtic players, and I'm quite surprised that only 2 is left. And Jota and Karl Starfelt. I mean, the guys had all signed on. I don't think like I said, Maeda and Rio's about to sign on. That's down to Brendan Rodgers for me. And obviously his man management and his experience and his tactical, what he can bring to the pitch. But I honestly thought we would have lost a few more, and I'm thinking Ange would have thought that as well. But yeah, it's good to see the guys extending. Raldo the other day, hopefully just getting Rio, Matt, and CCV over the line now.
What's your opinion on Ralston, Connor?
What's that, sorry?
What's your opinion on Anthony Ralston signing a new deal, even though his deal wasn't up to 2025?
I quite like Anthony Ralston, to be honest with you. Like, even under Ange, he was absolutely phenomenal. He went through a spell, but he just seems to be one of the players, Keith, where he's in and out of the team all the time, but he's a definitely right back choice. Johnston, obviously, is Celtic's number 1. But Tony Ralston, I was quite happy with giving him a new contract, because he brings it to the team. He's clearly Celtic, and that's it. You know what I mean? That's how you want your players. You want the passion for them. So we've got that for Tony, and he signed his new deal. And I'm happy with that, definitely. And there's
So
Dan
you're happy for the season with the right back situation, even though we have another window left.
well, no, maybe it's a tough one, isn't it? Because he is good, but then he can be a letdown at sometimes as well. But what player can he? They've all
Exactly.
had that moment.
It's like you're looking at the defence, as you said. We need two comfortable centre backs. Like when Starfelt left, you knew that unbeaten run domestically with Starfelt and Vickers in the league was that's had to been gone. He's moved on to Celta Vigo, getting the Roski in, getting Larga Bielka in. It's a thing with the Swedes. Any Swedish player that we've signed over the years have took time to settle. Mistrolovic took time to settle. Lustig took a couple of games to settle. I remember when he came from Rosenborg. Henrik, look at Henrik and his debut against Hibs back in '97.
Yeah.
Like people, so it's just a case that the lads will, once they put the short on, the Scandinavian players will fight for the short and they get Celtic quicker than some players do. But I think Larga Bielka will settle. You know, it is a big step up from coming from Elfsborg, the Celtic, massive club. But I'm sure he's had having a chat with Starfelt when he was on international duty with him, saying, okay, this is what you're expecting. You'll get used to Carter. This is how Carter plays. I'm sure he had a word of him anyway.
I think obviously Naroski's off injured. He's out injured. I'm gonna see when Naroski comes back with CCV. That'll be such a unit at the back. Seeing glimpses of him and seeing how he plays, it was great to watch. And obviously you've Taylor and Naji on the other side, but it's just going to be hard to drop scales at the minute. He's just playing a blinder. I just can't see him out of that team.
I think if he got the injury, I think if we didn't have this injury crisis, I think Scales probably would have went off at the last day of the transfer window.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
I agree. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It shows you the potential. I mean, I was watching last season against Rangers and other teams playing for Aberdeen. I'm like, why is this guy out on loan? Why he should be with Celtic? Played a blinder, scored that goal or cross, whatever you call it, for Aberdeen. But he's brand new player coming on for us, and he show the true potential and what it can bring to the table. For me, it's a gift.
It's kind of like it's very similar to Christopher Royer story when you think about it. Christopher Royer came into Celtic, didn't really settle for the fourth season. He was shipped off on loan to Kilmarnock, done a season there under his belt, and then came back and became a player for us. I think the whole going from Shamrock Rovers to Celtic was probably a big two-step for Scales just early in his career. He probably needed that season of experience. I know he was there for his fourth season at Celtic, but his second season he went to Aberdeen and then got that role. Do you agree with that?
Aye, no, definitely. I cut out there, mate. Sorry, a wee bit. Definitely. It would be a big step up for him as well, and it's also the move as well from coming off the island as well. It's the same with every player that comes to Scotland, mate. It's a big move for all of them, so it's just like taking a bit getting used to it, and getting into the teams, playing the way they want to play, and mate, playing at Celtic Park every week. It's a lot of pressure. 60,000 there every week watching you. You know what I mean? You've been there yourself. You've seen it. You've experienced it. It's a tough place to play under.
Exactly, regardless what competition it is, if it's Champions League or we're playing a team on bottom of the league, Celtic fans expect perfection, expect you to be consistent, putting the shirt on and fighting for the cause. But I believe I think Scales deserves a call for Ireland. I know Ireland are not in a great shape at the moment under Stephen Kenny. It's only 6 wins out of 25 games over 3 campaigns. But Scales will get his chance. I think he has more than a centre-back attribute with him. I think he could take the ball up. We've seen against Dundee United in his proper competitive debut away in the league, and he scored. I think there's potential there for Scales to be a player. And if you're holding it well in the Champions League, you can do it. You can do it on any occasion, especially domestically.
No,
yeah, that's it. I mean, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, forget about Ireland. He's going to be hard to drop him on that Celtic team. He should be getting his call up. I don't know when the next Ireland game was, but
next Ireland game's in October. So I'm kind of saying to myself, you know what? I hope he doesn't get called up, because in case Naroski and Larga Bielka picks up an injury and then we're rushing Vickers back, we're strapped for players at centre back. We can't be playing a Wata and Larga Bielka there just yet.
No, definitely not.
No, definitely
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Michael Watt is very happy here than either, is he? I've seen somebody done an interview in Japan. And he wasn't very happy. We've seen if he wasn't how happy he was or something here. I didn't
But
need
see,
all
that's
it.
an Ange. That's an Ange signing, and that's what you're gonna get. Like you're gonna get players that are once the gaffer goes, they rather buy into the new philosophy like Maeda and Kyogo and Abad as well. Like to be honest, I thought Abad would have been gone in the last window. I really believe that he thought he was gonna go. It's like, you know what, he's early 20s. He's probably weighing up a move. Like I know Ajax were sniffing around, Sporting Lisbon were sitting around, but he seems pretty happy under
It
Rodgers. And
was, yeah, it was going. He was out the door. He wasn't signing a new contract, and it's just Andy. If you don't want to be here, he's just got no interest, and he benched him for how long? He wasn't getting on the park. Rodgers came on, seeing the potential. Obviously, must have forced Celtic's hand in terms of new terms and new conditions for his contract, and now he's extended. So played brilliant against Rangers at Ibrox, and obviously just unfortunately getting that injury after. But that's another one. I mean, I'm telling you, if Rodgers hadn't came back, I don't think some of these players would have extended their contracts. Keith, we had a conversation about this off air. Ange was losing more players than Rodgers gained, in my opinion.
Because Ange had that stubbornness, as you said. You don't want to play, feck off.
No,
we'll find the best move for you.
You can even see it in the training pitch,
Look at Giakoumakis.
And, yeah.
I still can't get out of that. Still can't get out of that. I will let him go.
Giakoumakis
you could probably see him come back on the Rodgers.
He's flying at the moment at Atlanta. He scored an absolute worldie the other day. He's doing well in the MLS.
I know, but it's MLS. Apart from maybe one or two teams, it's MLS. The quality is just dire. Obviously Messi's aware now, and if Inter Miami's brilliant, but it's the MLS. You could score for fun in that league.
It's like international football on Thursday night, is definitely. No, I think Giakoumakis, look at you seen glimpse of him. He is good, strong, physical. He wins a lot of fouls, but I don't think he has that mentality and that confidence that the way Giakoumakis did.
No, yeah. See, it was one of them as well. Like, if you actually remember as well, under Ange, mine Kyogo got injured and Giakoumakis came in, and we went on some stroll that season. Like, I'm not saying
I remember that. Yeah.
Kyogo, but Giakoumakis, like the way Ange played the football.
Did he not score a hat-trick in the second game or something when Kyogo, I think, got injured or something like that? Was it St. Johnstone or something?
I'm not sure. I remember he scored the hat-trick at Dundee at Parkhead.
Yeah, Dundee, sorry, that's the one.
I'm positive that's what it was anyway, Dundee, aye. But even under Ange, you had your fast wingers and then you had your big unit of your striker Giakoumakis. And that's how I think we came off. And it was just, I was still to this day, I'm gutted that he's away.
Yeah, he was definitely it was a different striker to Kyogo up front, the physicality, the speed, but his first season he was joint top goal scorer in the league. So he was there was a thing in his contract to say he scored so many goals or goals scored per game that they would look at the new contract. He was top goal scorer in that league in his first season. He was joint with some guy from Ross County, and Celtic didn't improve his terms, so they thought, you know what, you're not going to honour the contract, then see you later. But yeah, that one still leads me up to this day as well, because he's flying and he's smashing them for Atlanta in America.
I'm not much of a big fan of either. I just can't take you yet. I don't know what it is.
I think Kyogo as a player, obviously the goals there was 34 goals last season. He scored some cracking goals this season. I just always feel in the back of my mind he's gonna get injury. He's going to get an injury quicker than most strikers.
Yeah, that shoulder's on the way out, so he had to go and pop it. Then he run down the tunnel and pop it.
If you were sitting in the park, you think he's up to the toilet.
Don't get me wrong. Look at it. He's exciting to watch. He's we had the stages with Edward. You're going back to that 2019 season, Danny, and Edward was unstoppable that season with Griff. The goals he was scoring, and then Kyogo has been scoring some remarkable goals. He has over 50 goals for Celtic so far. in his career.
Yeah, over 50 goals, and he's only with them 2 years. I mean, it's his movement and his awareness, and he just plays off his shoulder defenders, and he's away before even
Livy, even that cross in for O'Reilly the other day, like.
Yeah, but again, it's the physicality. He has a whippet. He's like, it's just. I think O should get more run of games and more minutes. He's physical. You see, he wants to succeed and do well. Is he in the same level as Giakoumakis? Probably not. But again, he's not getting a run with Giakoumakis too. I mean, if he ever came back to Celtic, he would want to be, first choice,
number one.
That's another one. He didn't like being second choice. He was always getting subbed at 60 minutes. He would very rarely start games, as Connor said there. When Kyogo went off injured, for a few months he went on a run of form from January through, and but yeah, they let him go, and obviously having Kyogo up front, and he's playing more deeper now under Rodgers. That's the only thing he could, with him playing deeper. He's not obviously scoring as many goals as he did on the Rangers, but again, it's just a tactic.
I'm going to ask you about Yang so far. What's your impression of Yang, Connor? What you seen of him?
I actually quite rate Yang. He looks like a player. He's good skill in that about him as well, Keith. So, like when we first signed him in that, I can't remember.
It was obviously it went on stall for 3 weeks, the whole Yang deal. Obviously, Yang Wang were like you're not leaving, maybe in the next window. And that was very similar to the other guy, the other four we were linked to prior. Was it the other guy previously before we got for all?
Well, Yang, I actually quite rate Yang. I've been saying that to a few of my mates as well. I'd actually like to see quite many Yang. He looks really good at the ball at his feet as well. So, what more can you ask for a winger?
Exactly. All you can do is, I was saying the other, like, so some fans are giving Palmer grief the other night in the Champions League. Like, you got to look at that's his first proper competitive start. It's the event as well, and I'm not trying to pick up from the same time. Let the guy settle. Rodgers only seen glimpses of him so far in that training pitch. 3 or 4 sessions, and he's putting him in the mix. Danny, what do you think of rating of Yang and Palmer so far? Like, you think Palmer will be getting more games ahead of Yang?
I think it's timing, Keith. I think obviously with us Celtic fans were quite impatient at times, but I mean, look at Jota when he came on. He didn't really have formed around 7-8 games in the season, and then it just clicked for him. Palmer will come good. He's got quality. He's got the talent from his previous teams. But Yang as well. I mean, Yang's been a great signing for us, and he's only going to get better. Does he start over Abada? Probably not.
I feel like Maeda is going to be undroppable, don't you? You feel like that Brendan has that connection with Maeda already.
So he said, he's 2 players. Like, you say, how do you get a man sent off? I know it was a keeper, but he was a play 4-3-2, and we were actually stronger than we were with 11 players. So yeah, it's just a work rate. There's no, obviously you can see he was hungry for his goal when he missed that sitter, and O'Reilly came on the reflex and scored. He was raising. He didn't even celebrate because he was raising. O'Reilly got the goal, but when he got his goal in, and what a goal it was, you can see how happy he was. And
has to win goal of the month.
Yeah, looking like it, isn't it?
Definitely. This question gets thrown at me all the time. So, folks, there's 14 years watching. If you could purchase the membership for 99 pence, it means that you are supporting the channel as well. And then at the end of the year, I'll be sending you Come On The Hoops stickers as well around January just for the support. So I'll give something back to you in return as well. So it's a monthly subscription of 99 pence. If you don't want to subscribe or to the membership, that's cool. The comments are crucial. You subscribe and normal is better as well. So the question that gets asked to me a lot is Jota back in January, Connor. Be honest, let's look at this. Is it time to just sail the ship with this and get over like Paddy Roberts?
I think it'd be a tough one to see, Keith, to be honest with you. Paddy Roberts still gets linked to us every year. And how many years has that been? 5 years?
I do videos on it every bleeding 6 months. It just...
Listen, I would just need to accept that I can't see Jota coming back. The only way it even be possible would have to be the loan option, clearly. But even at that, I still couldn't see it. I think it'd end up getting sent maybe like Premier League, but a small Premier League team, maybe.
You feel like Jota is going to be looking at a Premier League and maybe return to Benfica. You don't feel like he's going to come back to Celtic. I think with that farewell message, winning them trophies, a different manager, he could come back. The chances were probably, in my eyes, is about 10% chance, but even more likely we will probably be looking to move to a club that will pay a higher wages from.
No, definitely. And then it's like again, then again, we're talking Saudi money, aren't we? So we don't actually need to worry about other clubs having to pay for these wages. They don't seem to care about money, do they, Saudi clubs? So, but no, I just can't see Jota coming back. I've seen it the last couple of days as well, being reported in that day, and it's just one of them. And like you say, another Paddy Roberts there again. I'll probably have enough
exactly. Danny, what do you think? You're not buying into it as well?
No, it's he's not coming back. It's clickbait. I think if anything, they'll go to Spurs. Spurs are monitoring the situation. They've got the money. I mean, it's all to do with contract. I mean, if he terminates his contract on the grounds that he can terminate it on, then he walks away with nothing. But he could just sit in Saudi Arabia and live it up and not play football and get paid for it.
I think they're that. I'll be honest with you, Danny.
He's still young. I honestly think that if he's going to go back, he's going to go anywhere. He's going to go to Spurs. But again, still to do with the contract. Contracts to be terminated first. They can't go on from.
I think it's going to be like a Spurs or Benfica, or I think it will be either a mid-table Premier League team. It's surprising. For some reason, I think Fulham. For some reason, I don't know why. Fulham. It's just, I don't know why Fulham, but it's one of them clubs.
Well, that Saudi team still have them for cup games, and that they're their own Champions League. They just can't play him in their league because they can only register 7 foreign players. So he's obviously frozen out from that. He qualifies to play the Saudi Arabia Champions League, their version of it, and then their cup games. So he's still in the mix for that. So I think he'll be used as fringe and a rotation, but he's not going to get in the league.
I know he's playing with some players. Like look at Benzema, Kante, Fabinho, decent players. I know. I could see them going back in January and offering 250 million for Salah.
I think that's the main part of it as well, isn't it? I think that's why they're maybe also trying to get rid of him, isn't it?
Like this is what they're doing. Like this is their marketing way of doing it. It's not even the high fees that they've lured majority of these players over the league. Is the option of you can take your yearly salary up front when you sign us. That's why loads of them are going over to that league.
I think that league's going to burst. To be honest, I don't think that league's. Yes, it's a money maker at the minute, and they're throwing everything at it. But I just think there's going to be regulations put on because it's just. Look at China. Do you remember China a few years ago? I mean, China were buying everybody left, right, and centre, and then
Hulk, Oscar.
Do you remember Tevez? Tevez was their biggest signing, and he earned the most money. He was the most expensive footballer at one time, and then that just they flopped. You know, they can't just.
Remember Samuel Eto'o was on 400 grand a week at Anzi in Russia.
Yeah,
we got the best signing out there anyway, Aaron Moy.
Yeah, suppose we did get Aaron Moy from the Super League. We did.
But could you imagine getting 25 million for Jota, right? And him terminating his contract and coming back to Celtic on a free?
I'd be laughing, man.
That'd be phenomenal.
That'd be serious business, isn't it?
I can't say it though.
I can't see it as well. So what did Peter say here? During Brendan's first spell, his training style caused a lot of injuries for us and came in a lot of criticism. What do you think of that changes time around experience? You know, he's obviously went off, done a job at Leicester, won an FA Cup, and more management skills developed since then. Like, you know, it's nearly 4 years on, and there has been a good few injuries.
Did they have a lot of injuries first time around? Because we went unbeaten. We done an invincible treble.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the second season. We still had a good few injuries, but we still went on and done a double treble.
Yeah, the second season. Yeah.
We did have a good few injuries because I remember we bought a few players in January. Anyway, the famous Marvin Compere came in.
Oh,
the legend.
the guy that wore the brown suit to the Celtic Players Award.
I think in January you'll see a few Rogers players coming in the door.
Hopefully,
he's studying them now, and that Bernardo was probably what is only signing, maybe Palma. But I think come January you'll see more Brendan's players coming to the door.
Well, this is why I ask people. They ask me all the time as well on the chat. What, Connor? What to you is a marquee signing? What is a marquee signing Celtic standards at the moment with the market?
So now you're probably talking like a lower Premiership team.
Now it doesn't. You don't have to look at it as a wage standard. I'm talking about a fee, kind of a bit of a reputation.
Well, if record transfer is 9 million, isn't it? And
Yeah,
that was it.
Franchetti, yeah.
Aye. So I mean, the money that we announced was it last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure we could break that. Definitely could break that, and I think we should be breaking that because this year as well, especially the Champions League. I think do we not get 70 or something if you get in the Champions League this year? Well, sorry, if you win the league this year and then you go into the Champions League, I'm pretty sure it's like you get crazy money anyway.
60 million there's talking about because there's obviously more games. It's going to be going into 8 games because of the new format of the Champions League.
I know. Celtic's a club, mate, that should definitely be breaking that 9 million transfer fee. 100%, because we've got the money there to do it, but you also don't want to be going out and spending too much money. But you could definitely be bringing 1 or 2 decent players in.
And that's why there's people are saying already, has Brendan been sold a lost pup? Because in the window, what as Danny just said, it was just a Bernardo signing his stamping, or it was a case that he sat down the bar and said, okay, let's get like someone like Nat Phillips in that has a bit of experience, because I can't be taking risks. The club can't be taking risks. But at the same time, the club, there was reports before even Ange left that Ange was getting offered a 30 million chest for transfers, and then I felt like we only spent 22 million in the transfer window, Danny, and that's the Jota money when you think about it. So we realistically haven't gone out and spent the Champions League revenue money or the revenue from that he forecasted with the 39 million after tax. Where's the money going?
Well,
I know we got the training ground up.
There was an announcement, sure, a few days back about a 20 million plus investment for the new training centre and for the women's and the B team. So a lot of it's probably going to that, upgrading that. I don't think Rodgers was sold down the river. I think obviously with his contract there might be stipulations there that he needs to be given some sort of budget. Are we going to bring in a marquee signing? Probably not, because the project model that we're using right now is buy them cheap, progress them, sell them on. The last marquee, as Connor touched on there, was Edward, 9.5 million from PSG. But I can't see us going for that type of player again, especially the way the market is. A lot of the money is tied up now in investment in terms of the training pitch for the women's team and the B team. But I do think Rodgers will bring more players on in January. Whether they be more key signings or not, that's a different question.
It just seems to be the same all the time, innit?
That's it. Like you're looking at this money coming through that we haven't seen before, and you're saying, right, this is time we can go out and actually break the bank. Like people were saying it literally before the window finished. We should have went out and just got 1 or 2 players, marquee players, like as in like maybe going out and get a 12 million player. Look at, for example, Fabian right there, that Swiss guy. He ended up going to Rennes. Was it Rennes he went to? Was that 12 million they paid for him? 14 million? Attacking mid, we were looking at Fabian Reder, from the young boys.
I know. I remember us being linked with him, but I'm not actually sure we ended up going there.
He might be a.
Listen, we bought 9 players. We're not in a rebuild. I know a team on the other side of Glasgow brought in 9 players, and they're in a full rebuild. So we bought 9 players. Our players came to 14 million, and there's a lot of potential there. And January still has to come yet. In terms of more players coming in, but I can't see any investment on players this year. Possibly in the summer for bigger signings, but not right now. Definitely.
If we just go to see a bit of business, if we were identifying positions, bit of business done literally the tip of the transfer window opens, like kind of like the way we done it with the Japanese model the last couple of years. Get them in early, look at different markets. I'm looking forward to seeing Marco Tolilo play. I know he's obviously got a bit minutes under his belt the other day. Him, Johnson, and Karabashi against Air United. But look, it's minutes. Like
It is minutes. The result wasn't too promising, especially as a testimonial game against Aaron. They had nearly a full slate with Vada, Johnson, Taylor, a really good
sure,
team. Like,
does McGeady play for Ayr?
Aye.
McGeady
That's it. I'm signed with him this season. He got let go of Hibs, didn't
Yeah, Lee Johnson.
he?
But before he left, got the sack. He's now at Fleetwood.
I have a question for you, Keith. So, a full fit Celtic team. I mean, everybody back from injury, no injuries. Look at the depth. Look at the strength. Look at the quality we have in terms of. I know at the moment it looks a bit bleak in terms of whatever. Okay, with the injuries we have, but a full strength Celtic team and bench. We're actually in a better position. I mean, I know we lost Jota and we lost Starfelt, but that's only two players. Armoy retired, so we didn't really lose him. He retired. He done a service for us. So Jota's away, Starfelt's away, but a full fit Celtic team. Would you be happy with a full fit Celtic team, or do you think there's still room for improvement?
Room improvement. I think another striker brought in. I just think another striker. I'm happy with the wingers. I'm happy with the midfield.
Striker and a goalie.
Striker and a goalie. I think we could ride it out with Joe Hart for the season, but definitely if you're going to look long term, bring someone in January, couldn't get them a game or two under the belt. If we win the league, I know I'm putting a lot of pressure on the team to do this. If we win the league by April, maybe the end of March, start of April, you mean you could bed them in for the last kind of split games?
If we're still in Europe after Christmas, I think the signings will be a lot better than being out of Europe.
I'll be honest, I know I'm not trying to be Debbie down on this, but Europe, we're not going to win European silverware. I know people are thinking of revenue perspective. If we're in the Europa League, we play 2 games. That 2 games could be a massive distraction towards our league form and injuries.
I even think you're struggling with confidence, Keith.
You've seen against Bodo Glimt. Well, I know that team went on to be a quarter-final Champions or Europa League team the following season, but
I always find that the problem is until Celtic ever get some big money coming in, you're always going to struggle in Europe. It's just you just have to settle for that. That's just the case now. The game is get into the Champions League, get the money, and then hopefully be in Europe after Christmas. And then if you're in Europe after Christmas, that's a bonus. That just seems to be the way it is now, mate.
100%. And you're looking for, are you confident going into the Lazio game? Because as I was saying to you tonight, they won against Torino, but they were sitting 15th in Serie A. They got that last minute equaliser to Atletico Madrid at home in the Stadio Olimpico. How are you feeling about the Lazio game? Are you feeling like it could be the same mentality as the 2019 game, even though it's a different manager, different formation, different crop of players?
Well, it just depends how Rodgers sets it out. But then again, you've got Brendan Rodgers and then you've Neil Lennon as your manager then. So Rodgers is an elite manager, isn't he? So it's not like we said, he's no daft, but then again, it's just a tough one. But every game at Parkhead, I still feel confident running a Champions League game. Doesn't matter who we're playing. Even last year, against Madrid, we were unbelievable. We got beat 3-0.
Yeah, but we were. The thing is, it's not a fortress that the way it used to be, like the O'Neill days or the Strachan days. It's not. If we've lost that, you're going back to the last decent European campaign was the Europa League group stages against teams like Rennes and stuff. We played in that group stage. We haven't been. You go back to the following season, we got knocked out of Champions League qualifiers to Werner Varos. Yes, Ange's 4th season, we done well in the Europa League, beating Werner Varos in the group. Who else did we have? Betis. Who was the other team? It wasn't Leverkusen? Was it Leverkusen?
I think it was. No.
Yeah, Leverkusen. But we need that big win. We just need that big win against a big club just to get that mentality back. We haven't beaten a big club in the Champions League since 2012. That was Barcelona.
No, definitely. That was some game that as well. That was at that game that night with my dad. That was brilliant. Remind me with that when I was in the line stand. That was shaking. That's what you love though, isn't it, day nights? You know what I mean? Under the lights at Parkhead, Champions League, the song's blaring, you're getting the goosebumps, and you want to beat these teams. You want to beat them, you know what I mean? But like you say, it's different levels now, isn't it? Completely.
100%. Danny, you're going over to the Lazio game. How are you feeling? Optimism kicking in with the way they're playing at the moment?
I mean, it's our first home game this campaign in the Champions League. You have to understand. I mean, we only lost 2-0 to Feyenoord, and we were down to nine men. They were smashing Ajax at the weekend. They won 3-0.
Yeah, the game got abandoned.
They were winning 3-0, and they were smashing Ajax. Ajax was at home, and that's 11 against 11. Ajax are some team. You look what they did to Rangers and other teams, but we were for us to come away there, we only a 2-goal deficit is fantastic, and he showed that the togetherness, the cohesive, and the unit that the Celtic team had that night. Is it going to be the same performance as when we beat Lazio home and away? Probably not.
Different keeper there, Fraser Foster.
Yeah, and then their team's been upgraded. Their team's been upgraded, and obviously they've got a bit of a bounce from that equaliser against Atletico. But again, as Connor says, on Champions League nights, we can give these teams a fright. The performance on the night. I mean, Lennon done really well in the Europa League against them. We won the group with a game to spare, and then got put out by Copenhagen the following week. The following 2 weeks after, which was mental.
I thought we played well away to Copenhagen. Like Edward obviously got the penalty and stuff, but it was just shocking at home with them.
Yeah, but
was it 3-1 at home? Wasn't it?
Was it not 2-0? I'm not sure.
4-2 ended up. I think it was 4-2. But I think I'll give him a game. Keith, to answer your question, at the do you think I'll give him a game? I'm going for 2-1.
2-1. What about yourself, Connor?
So it'll be a 2-1 or a 3-2, I think, Celtic.
I'm going 2-all. I just think 2-all. I just don't feel like the defence will be settled just yet. Like, we're going to be missing Laga Bielke. So who's going to be coming in as the centre back with Scouts? That's the question. Is it going to be a Wate?
It looks like it, probably. That's the only thing in it. So
you never know. Can't CCV maybe back?
You might play Raldo centre back.
He's due back in the 9th, but I don't know. He could come back.
You might play Alistair Johnson centre back. Alistair Johnson plays that position for Canada.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Alistair Johnson's a bit of unit as well, isn't he? You know what I mean? Even when you watch him, like a player's 1-on-1 with him, and you see him going in for the challenge, it's like 90% of the time he wins that ball.
I think that Phillips will come back on, Keith.
If he gets his ankle injury sorted, hopefully.
I don't think they'll play him this weekend. I think they might give him some minutes this weekend, but I think that Phillips will be back on for that game.
Look, Motherwell's not going to be a push over the weekend. They thought he played pretty well against Rangers on Sunday. They're doing well in the league as well.
They set up really well. That was only their second defeat. But again, look at Samarin. They got beat 4-2 tonight. So it does. So I mean, it's these teams. It's early in the season too. But yeah, Motherwell set up really well. But they're no pushover at home.
Yeah, Fair Park's always a tough place to go. But we always nicked results there, especially in the last couple of years. We're looking at it right now. Connor, who would your starting lineup be for the weekend against Motherwell?
Well, I said Seagrass, but I can't see that happening. So it'd probably be Bain, Johnson. If Phillips is it fit, probably Phillips, Scales, Taylor, then your usual Hatate, McGregor, Yang, Maeda, and Kyogo.
What about yourself, Danny?
Snap. I was reading about 1 by 1. Yeah, the exact same team. I think Phillips will come on, get minutes under his belt. I think he'll get maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, and sets him up for the Champions League game.
I will be going.
Might see Yang at the weekend though. I don't know. It's just maybe Maeda, Kyogo, and Yang.
I forgot about him.
I think they might play him at the weekend.
I'm gonna go for Hart and goal. Well, not Hart and goal is suspended. I'm gonna go for Bain and goal. I don't think he will play Seacrest, as you said. I think Seacrest's head is in another place. Obviously, he has that relationship with Scott Bain since 2017-18 season. It's gonna be Johnston right back, Taylor left back. I think Taylor will actually have a stormer against them. I just have that feeling against them. Scales, Phillips. I think he will drop Larga Bielka, not like put him on the bench and pick Scales over him. Scales looks more solid. Callum McGregor, Matt O'Reilly, Rio Atate, Maeda. I'm gonna say he's gonna go Yang. If obviously he could go with James Forrest like he done last week. Obviously, he had to bring Jamesy off when we went down to 10 men, and then Coyle go up front. But I think he will be. I think he will make subs early enough in the game. I'm talking about maybe 55 minutes, 60 minutes, and I think he'll change about 3 or 4 of the personnel because of Lazio at home Lazio at home on Tuesday night. Won't be taking chances.
Yeah, I agree with that. And again, Motherwell is a great place.
Could go with Turnbull because Turnbull obviously does well against his former club.
I don't think I'll go with Turnbull.
I like Turnbull.
What do you rate of Turnbull? Do you think like there's a player there? If he kept him for another season or two, or you just think he's just
there's a substitute there?
Regardless of Turnbull, Danny, do you think there's a player there?
Yeah, I think there's a substitute there, and not a first team player.
What about yourself, Connor?
I rate him, but like Dan says, substitute player definitely. Too busy turning back all the time. It's always back. And you watch McPartney every week or whatever it is. Just runs with the ball and then it's just a constant back. You know what I mean? Under Rodgers, I suppose he's going to be better, but like Dan says, he's definitely just a substitute player. And obviously, if you put an injured player, really come in.
Yeah, he can definitely hit a ball, outside the box, and he's decent at penalties. But I can't see him dropping Rio now. I mean, Rio's just on the verge of signing a new contract. There may have been a bit of a bump on the road when Rodgers came on with Rio, but I just can't see him dropping Rio. He's a sub player, maybe a fringe player at best, but he's not a first team player for me.
I think if we keep these new contracts, for example, like if Rio gets a new deal, O'Reilly gets a new deal, and Holm is starting to make a stamp on the team as well, I think Turnbull will be looking at his options, maybe going on loan in January. Like Strange Love, the doctor says, maybe a loan move for him, maybe a Hibs or an Aberdeen. I think sending him up to Aberdeen, obviously working with Barry Robson, who was a cracking midfielder for Celtic and Dundee United. I think he could do it. He could give him a bit of experience up there. I just don't know. I think
if he's going to go anywhere, he's going to go back to Motherwell.
You think the Well will take him back? You think he'll take the cut and go back down to the club where it made him?
Well, that's the championship team comes on from, but there's been no speculation or rumours. I think we need to time Matt O'Reilly down because it's going to be hard to hold on to him, especially if he gets called up for Denmark senior team. David Turnbull, he's had an opportunity. Rodgers played my first game against Ross County. He should have scored a hat-trick. He should have scored a hat-trick. Scored 2. Played really well, but it's the games after that. Keith, he has one good game, and then he just goes MIA for 3 or 4 games, and then he pops back up again. He's not consistent for me.
I think he's a slower pace player than Rogic was. You might correct me on that. I think Rogic just had that magic about him, and it's sad to see Tom doesn't even have a club at the moment. Released from West Brom.
I don't know why he wasn't brought back at the Celtic, just even for a year.
I'd let him train with Celtic and see what happens. But yeah, they have the likes of James McCarthy still in the club. Who would you rather, Tom Rogic or James McCarthy? It's a no-brainer. Like.
Yeah.
Right, Sam, man.
Rogic done.
Sorry, keep on you go.
No, go ahead, Connor.
No, Rogic was actually phenomenal. Like even I just couldn't compare Turnbull to Rogic. I couldn't, mate. Honestly, I think Rogic was sensational. Just even with his feet and his shooting, everything about him was just brilliant.
Just couldn't get the ball off him. But he did. No. Like as you said, he wasn't the fastest player. Even look at the goal against Aberdeen. He didn't it wasn't like speedy run. He just took the players on, skinned forward him and just put it in.
Glided along the flat. That's how it felt like. He just glided that ball and then boom in the back of the net.
Oh, what a day! What a day! Still feels like only yesterday.
Does that? It's mental, isn't it? Already, it's good memories,
Well,
isn't it?
that was the start of the travels, though. You like,
Aye.
I don't think
I could,
like, could you say Rio is Tommy's replacement? I know Rio was there when Tommy was there. Matt O'Reilly's probably the replacement for
Matt's
Matt.
yeah. Right.
And I know
Yeah,
some
he's
people,
tell.
as I said this to you during the summer, Dan. I said I think Matt O'Reilly will become an Armstrong under Rodgers. I think there's something there with Matt O'Reilly, and he spoke about Rodgers when he was on Celtic TV, the culture of football of him coming over in the canteen, having a chat with him. You know, as you said, he's one of them managers that put the arm around, and you don't get a lot of them in football. You get maybe Klopp, maybe not company, Guardiola. Like, there's not a lot of them in the modern day football.
Yeah, it's man management. I mean, even see it in those Celtic training videos and the photo. He's always standing with Rodgers and just chatting, and he's excelled this season so far on the Rodgers. And you can see a player is just growing the way. I honestly, last season, I think he's getting frustrated, and you could tell that he scored more. He scored more goals now than he did the whole of last season.
did they know that record last year as well? Sorry, Matt O'Reilly was the most shots and targets or something. They didn't score.
I know he had the highest
Sorry,
assist. He had the highest assist in the league.
Played most games last season. Played every game for Celtic last year.
He had the highest
Yeah.
assist in the league, so it is, and obviously the goals just weren't there. But this season, he's just a different gravy.
As you said, once he gets that call up for Denmark, and you're looking at this guy be going into a 15, 16 million player. Then he'd be.
How long's he left?
What?
How long's he left in his contract?
He's 26. It'd be summer 26. The same contract duration as Rio.
Yeah, I think he will extend with Celtic. Maybe under the terms we'll extend. I'll stay for another 2 years. But if a club comes up with me, then I want to move on. But yeah, there's definitely a star in the making there. You can just
there's a Brighton or a Luton or Brentford sniffing around. You have that feeling, don't you? You have a feeling like even in Nottingham Forest might go in from in January.
He wouldn't join Forest. Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not. They're turning on they're forced to turn on the NR Chelsea because having people sitting on the floor. They can't even they've got to be 3 teams in that dressing room.
They've been on like 18 seasons last year.
Now I think Matt O'Reilly will be. I think Matt O'Reilly, give him the 2 years, 3 years at Celtic, gets that Champions League experience. I think he will move on to like a big club in the Premier League. I'm talking top 6.
He'll go back down to England. He wants to go back to England. Not that he wants to go back to England. He hasn't said that, but obviously he came from NK Dons, and he's obviously English-Saxon. You can just probably tell the Premier League's in him. But again, it's just down to us to tie him down, and I think this is a year he's going to excel massively under Rodgers.
That's it, definitely. As I said, Rio be a matter of no time. As you seen, Steve McGowan broke the story yesterday saying that the talks have been going positive between the board and his representatives. He's turned down 2 deals already for a new contract. And obviously the second deal he turned down was literally the same week as the transfer deadline.
You can see the start of the season as well. He didn't look very happy, did he, Rio?
It was the Japanese media throwing him up as well, asking him questions about the Premier League when he was over there.
I know, he didn't look too very happy at the season. Like, there was that video sure he just walked past all the fans to the side, he'd done right past the lot of them. That was floating about the start. I think it was the first game of the season.
Well, that's it. Like you've seen in the past with Rodgers, he changes the whole culture of the team and the training ground and all. He came in from Ronnie Doyle and changed the whole Dyer program, changed the whole style. He obviously made Scott Brown a new player. Scott Brown is on the verge of retiring or moving on, and what we got out of Scott Brown, an extra 5 years.
I know he did. He made Scott Brown. He turned Brown into some different player, man. I know you thought Brown was finished,
Yeah, I thought Darren O'Day was going to get the Inverness job, to be honest, but obviously, you know who got that.
Duncan.
So
did you see his interview yesterday?
I didn't see it now.
It's funny, I think we're very good, and what ambition in here. It was just the same one as his last interview. It was identical.
That's he didn't do well at Forest Green, but predictions for the weekend. Danny, what are you going for against Motherwell?
3-1 Celtic. 2 first half goals. I think it's going to be 3-1. Yeah.
You're just not confident with it.
I think it'll be scrappy. I think it'll be scrappy. For the first 15-20 minutes, but yeah, 3-1.
3-1. Who are you predicting for the goals?
Kyogo hat-trick. No, Kyogo and Maeda, and maybe, I don't know, if Lewis Palmer gets on. I want to see him get a goal to get his confidence up, Keith. But yeah, Maeda,
get a free kick, a nice belter of a free kick in.
Maeda, Kyogo, and O'Reilly for the goals. But again, it could be he could put a different team with the Champions League on Tuesday or Wednesday. Sorry.
Really, once we get Nashville's a bit of minutes under the belt, and once we get the 3 points, I don't care if it's 3 or 4-0 or 2-1 or a 1-0. Once we get the 3 points, keep the momentum up. We're still unbeaten in the league. That's the most important thing. And I know they'll be played if we do get the scrappy 1-0, and that's how champions are made. Look at Man United over the years in the Premier League when they were actually winning Premier Leagues. They won scrappy 1-0s. You see that even with Ange, we were winning. We were getting the 95th minute winners, 97-minute winners, and Motherwell are not going to be easy at all. I know we were saying that obviously some of these teams born off steam more they got into the league, like St. Mirren losing tonight and stuff, but the Well are a good team, and especially at home, and that's a good pitch. Look, you go back to 10 years ago, 11 years ago, you couldn't even play in that pitch. They had to postpone games all the time.
Yeah, that pitch, their pitch is one of the best teams, one of the best pitches in Scotland. They've obviously had a lot of investment on it, so that pitch suits us in the style of football we play.
Definitely, 100%. So, gonna say to yourself, kind of what be going for on the weekend against the old Well?
I think it'll be a 3-0 Celtic. I think it'll be Kyogo, Hatai, and if Palmer plays, I think we'll see Palmer get a goal in as well, like Dan was saying there.
Yeah.
It's a tough place to go. You always think that as well, but then again, last year was it 4-0? 4-0 first part? Or was that the season before?
I'm going to go 2-1. I think they'll score against us first. I just think, as much as people criticise Joe Hart, because Joe Hart being the established number one, I'm not that confident with Bain. Looking at his distribution of the ball at times, and even the other day, he could have came out for that ball. And he didn't come out for a ball. And they could have scored.
He's done it as well, though, Joe Hart at Livingston as well, Saturday. Just before, just 10-15 minutes before, he done the exact same thing, came out for the ball. He got it that time, obviously, but that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes, like, stuff like that, and the bodies, that's where the bomb scare part comes in.
100%.
And Craig Gordon as well. Craig Gordon's a brilliant goalkeeper, but seeing he came clearing the ball.
You go back to that game when we got beaten, obviously the 69 game, beaten, like 2 of them goals that were conceded that day was Craig Gordon's fault.
No.
Distribution of the ball at the flanks, shocking. Then he hit us in the counters as well, but like, look, that was a different age. Football has changed a lot since 2017, but I'm going to 2-1. I think Yang. I'm gonna fancy Yang, and I'm gonna fancy O'Reilly to score. I think Yang, there's a goal in there from if he starts.
No, definitely, mate. Like I say, he's really good with his feet.
Pacey.
Aye, fast. That's what I wish my header had with his feet. Same as Yang.
I would actually, looking at it now as a precaution, I'd probably start all the weekend instead of Kyogo, because Kyogo picks up that shoulder injury, and we're having a sweat going into the Champions League game like we did towards Feyenoord. We don't want to be thinking about that,
No, definitely not, mate. Like I said, I'm not too keen on all. Hopefully it does come good, Keith. But he's just, I don't know what it is about him. He's just like he's a big physical player, like Giakoumakis, but he's not got the goals in him like Giakoumakis.
Yeah, definitely. He's not clinical enough for me.
Well, the game's not on Sky Sports, folks. It's been they basically decided that they're not broadcasting the game the weekend. The only place you'll get the game is Motherwell TV, which is £15. Celtic TV, you only get it outside the UK and Ireland. If you're living outside the UK and Ireland on Celtic TV.
Shafted by Sky again.
So there you go. 15 quid for on Well TV to watch the game. I've said this many times on the channel, and I always say this again. I think it was a massive disappointment that BT lost the rights to the Scottish domestic matches, and Sky Sports came in and bought the contract, because yes, we have Chris Sutton now and the punditry. They've twisted out and Andy Walker's gone, but it's just not the same. It's just not the same banter. I can't sit there and watch Chris Boyd talk.
Well, he's been missing the last few weeks. I don't know where he's he's him and that female presenter. I don't know what Ellie Barber, is it?
Yeah,
they've been off. So don't know what's going on there. I think the Sutton effect already.
Boys get
Probably.
sacked for the Celtic Rangers game.
Yeah.
I was surprised Sutton was allowed even into Ibrox, to be honest. Because when I met him, I said the same thing. I goes, "You're going to be allowed into Ibrox?" He goes, "I don't know."
Yeah, he was in safety. That was a joke, wasn't it?
Yeah, but now look at it's. You see what happens. Like, I know Sky Sports have that contract now until 2026, the SPL contract.
Was it no? It used to be to every single away game was in the telly as well, wasn't it? Yeah, or BT, whatever it was. But every away game used to always be in the telly. But no, I know you're just, like you say, you're gonna have to pay for the club channels,
That's it. Right, folks, we're gonna leave it there. It's been over an hour tonight. I want to say a massive thanks to Danny and a massive thanks to Connor for jumping on. It's been a good chat, and we'll be back on. Hopefully, I might be back on Friday night before I head back to Dublin, folks, for the Motherwell preview. But cheers to the lads for coming on, and if you haven't subscribed, folks, do subscribe as well. Speak to you all soon.
Thanks, Keith. Bye bye.
Cheers.